The entire anime of Vinland Saga tells you that you don't have enemies, but it's nowhere near as perfect as it seems, because in reality, you do have enemies. This almost sounds insane. I mean, after seeing the life of Thorfinn, how he was completely wrecked by hatred. But when he finally chose peace, he became a human once again, making the ideology of I don't have enemies only stronger. It starts making sense to you, and when you try to apply it in your life, it fits. But choosing peace in today's time is a death sentence. Because as I said, in reality, you actually do have enemies. One of my favorite actors, Keanu Reeves, said something which matches completely with Vinland Saga.
I'm not a fighter, I'm a lover.
I don't know, no, because if you're a lover, you gotta be a fighter.
How so?
Because if you don't fight for your love, what kind of love do you have? No, I'm kidding.
This is very true. As soon as you love or believe in something, you gain enemies, as there will always be someone who is ready to take it all away from you. So, in order to protect what you love, you need to fight those enemies. And if you don't, you will lose what you love and believe in. That is what happened with Thorfinn. If his father Thors had raised a sword that day, then he would still be alive. But his belief in not choosing violence ended up costing him his own life. Tell me now, what's the use of peace when you're no longer even alive? This is where the no violence ideology starts showing flaws. Even if Vinland Saga teaches us that violence should be the last option you choose for solving any situation, it's only a good alternative when our enemy itself is understanding enough. Again visible in the death of Thors. In that situation, he was the only one who believed in having no enemies. But no matter what angle you look at the situation from, there is no label you can give to these people other than enemies. Which is another flaw in choosing peace. Because no matter how much you try to solve a situation with words, until the person in front of you also shares the same mindset, words won't be strong enough. And if you think you can just change their mindset, well, sometimes there just isn't enough time. Well, till now we have talked about why no violence absolutism is bad. How does that prove that you do have enemies? We actually have two answers for it. One is by me and one is by Vinland Saga. First, talking about my answer, the idea of no enemies, no violence, always peace is very utopian. And well, let's face it, this is real world, not utopia. Here, if you don't know violence and how to deal with it, you're going to be facing some very non-peaceful situations. So my answer is not for you to become a violent lunatic. You need to find the right balance. You don't need to be violent, but you should be well versed with violence. You should know what's violence. You should know how to raise a sword. After all, peace is only viable as long as both parties trust each other. The day you become the only one is the day you obtain enemies. Let me explain it with a very simple example. Imagine a society made up of peaceful people. No matter what intolerable acts will happen, that society would always opt for peace. But the intolerables are not like them. They couldn't care less about peace. So eventually will come a point where they will seize the peace from the society entirely. All because they didn't know how to raise a sword. Now, the answer by Vinland Saga is actually a question. A question asking you instead of answering you whether you have enemies or not. Because from the story's perspective, it entirely depends on the person's psychological perception and their definition of enemy. What an enemy is, who an enemy is. Vinland Saga shows us how peace holds the power of ending the hate cycle, but also shows us the price of it, leaving us with not an answer, but a question. And this question is what made the entire anime such a masterpiece. Because instead of giving us one simple conclusion, the anime pushes us to challenge our morals and understanding, making the anime a much more immersive experience and a modern era cinema. But here's something interesting. After all these facts and questions, paradoxes, how does Vinland Saga make it so natural to go with the choice of I have no enemies? This is again tied with our answer of Vinland Saga. How the anime makes you live through the life of Thorfinn basically gives you perception of what it costs to be drowning in hatred and revenge, and how empty you become once it is all taken away from you, throwing your entire life into question and asking what even was the point of living till now. But then again, it shows how choosing to end the cycle of revenge gives your life much more meaning. How deciding to never raise a sword frees you from the burden of that which is hatred. But again, we come to the question, would this really work in our real world? This is where you get stuck between two thoughts. Stuck between the paradox of peace and violence. And this is not my first time talking about paradoxes. You can click this video here to see a paradox about a very famous character, or you can click on this video to watch my latest one. Don't forget to click on my nose to subscribe. I will see you next week. Till then, ganbatte.